Right, well, welcome everybody. This is the review of the TC Wanderer. I did a small quick review the other day. Today I actually have some cameras fitted to the bike and I'm able to do a good review today because the weather's good. Okay, so since the last time I made the video, I have been doing some riding and noticed that in setting number 3, even at low speed, it does consume an awful lot of power. I'm not really sure if that's normal. I have 2 batteries. I can only really compare it with my Sur-On, and that's very similar. My Sur-On has a 70 amp hour battery and this has 64 ampere hours, and the Sur-On lasts maybe 3 times as much. Okay, just accelerating around the corner. I'm in mode 2 at the moment. I'm going to give mode 2 a try today and just see how it goes around the smaller roads. The suspension's hard. That's to be expected on a normal new bike, but I have heard that electric motorcycles do have more stiff suspension because you actually get a little bit more range out of it. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, I know air pressure also makes a difference the way that the bike coasts. So the air pressure I checked before I left, and both front and back tyres are to the factory settings. My batteries are... what are my batteries percentages at the moment? It says in mode 2, it says I have 124 kilometers to go. That's optimistic because I noticed that as you start to get low on battery energy, your voltage goes down, so therefore your current consumption goes up. So it's an exponential curve. It's not linear. You don't get the same range throughout the whole percentage that is shown on the meter. So as you're getting less and less in your range, your current's going higher as your voltage drops. So you're actually taking more energy out of the batteries, and basically your range is decreasing much quicker. These roads are still in really bad condition, so I just have to take it a little bit easy around here. But it seems to be going good. It's quite smooth. Mode 2 is okay for now because on this road I'm only going slowly anyway. I'm doing, well, you can see from the camera there, I'm doing about 20 kilometers an hour. I'm just creeping through this rock and mud puddle here. I'm trying to get to the Oshima Dam that I went to on the Sur-On. It's the same road, but I really need to wait for it to be dry weather to compare the same speed that I went on the Sur-On. I didn't go that quickly actually on the Sur-On, but it's just to be fair. The brakes are getting much better since my previous video. They're starting to bed in and they're braking quite well. I probably think that the rear could do with a larger disc diameter, just to give it a bit more energy for rear braking, but they're not too bad. They're okay. I'm doing like 25 kilometers an hour. Probably on a good dry day you could do 35, I guess. So, but you'd be, you know, the average around these back roads is probably, well, less than 30 kilometers an hour for sure. It'd be 25 kilometers an hour or less even than that. So yeah, I'm sitting on 25 right now. It's enough just to get around these corners and straighten up, and then just get a bit of speed on. You've got to decelerate again to get around these next corners. I did move the handlebars slightly back towards myself, and it's feels much more comfortable. The foot pegs are a little bit narrow for short distances. Maybe if you're traveling using the bike just to go to work, to and from work, or to the shops and back, they're fine. But if you have a 2 battery bike like this and you do intend to go 100 kilometers, I think your actual feet will get a little bit tired. You'll feel the thin foot pegs on under the bottom side of your feet. But they're okay. The accelerator is very smooth. There's no what's the word? There doesn't seem to be any load at all on the accelerator. It feels like it's got bearings in it. That's how smooth the rolling when you roll the accelerator forward and back, it feels very smooth. It doesn't matter whether you're in mode 1, 2 or 3. The first quarter turn of the throttle, nothing really happens. So it's sort of from over a quarter to half you start feeling a little bit of the motor torque. The headlight itself is quite good. Through some of the tunnels here in Japan, they're quite long, and I have been using the headlight in those. The high beam is more of a wide beam, which is quite good if you're on these type of roads in an evening time or night time. As you turn the bike, it illuminates the dark side of the road. Normally as you turn the bike, the headlight moves with the way you're turning the bike, so the other side of the road is not illuminated. So yeah, the actual high beam in the left and right side is quite wide, and so it does illuminate that dark spot, so I think that's quite good. The coasting is excellent. The bike's coasting quite nicely. It rolls really well. Goes around the corners quite nicely. I don't know if you can hear that noise in the microphone. These are the actual brake calipers, the pistons vibrating. It's normal on any bike, but normally if it's a motorized bike you can't hear it. Bicycles, depending on the quality of your bike, if you've got actual disc calipers and discs on your bicycle, then you would hear a similar sort of sound. I'm still in mode 2. Just along this little straight here, it's pulling along okay. It's yeah, just under 35 kilometers an hour I'm doing around this road. They're still new tyres and the roads are still damp, so I don't want to go my normal speeds. I'll go a little bit slower than I usually do. Today is about 30 degrees centigrade, so it's quite a warm day, but in these roads here, in amongst all these trees and the river running parallel to the road, it's quite cool. It's a very cool, in fact. I'm wearing my summer bike jacket and I'm actually a little bit cold. Once we get to the dam, that's out in the open, so it'll be, I'll be able to warm up there. I actually bought the bike for this actual road and these roads around this area. This is the main purpose of the bike, is for these roads. The second reason is for work. I have been using my 750 Honda to get to work, but this is a much better choice for obvious reasons. So that's the second reason, but my main reason was for these type of roads going around here. So these type of roads are good for electric bikes. It doesn't matter what make it is, I guess, because you're accelerating and then by the time you get to a fast speed, you're decelerating again to go around the next corner. So you sort of just, without using your brakes, you're just flicking from one corner to the other, rolling the accelerator on and off, and the Wanderer does it very nicely. What I like about the Wanderer, it's an advantage and a disadvantage, but it's the rear motor, the hub motor. It's not unsprung weight, so it's not the best being unsprung weight, but it's quiet. It's whisper quiet. My Sur-On has the chain drive. There's a belt and then it drives a chain, and it is quiet compared to a petrol engine, gasoline engine, but there's basically no noise at all. So it's like riding a bicycle on a motorbike. A motorbike bicycle, I don't know how to describe it, but with no noise. It's like flying. There's virtually no weight on the bike. It's only 100 kilograms. So it feels like you're floating on air. And you can hear all the birds in the trees, even with my helmet on. At times they're actually louder than the road noise of the bike itself. The birds are louder than the road noise. So if you're riding in the countryside, I think it's quite pleasant. So if you're a city person, if there's any way that you can get a 2-battery version, I'd recommend it, because you can ride out to the country and spend a nice hour or so, take a lunch or something with you and go and sit under a tree somewhere out in the open, or in a nice area where surrounded by nature, and ride back. It's this is what I think they're good at, this Wanderer, the design. This is relatively flat, and I've also been going downhill, so ooh, it's a bit slippery there with some loose sand. So for flat road and downhill, number 2 setting on the speed mode is okay for this type of road that you can see on this video. I'm just turning to the road, into the road where the dam is now. Tells me that I've got 109 kilometers to go. I haven't taken this to work yet. The weather hasn't been very good. Since I bought the bike, since last week, but the work is about 25 kilometers each way, but the roads are just basically normal roads. They're straight. There are some hills, but it's basically straight speed all the way, so it's like 40 and 50 kilometer an hour speed, and then you reach rush hour traffic. So it'll be interesting to see the difference when you're going faster, how much more energy it consumes. My Sur-On with the 70 amp hour battery, I was doing off-roading a couple of months ago. I actually went 10 hours all day right until the evening and got home, and I still had 20% battery left. And that's because in the forest you're only doing 10-15 kilometers an hour, sometimes 20. You know, you're going over logs and trees, and you're standing on the foot pegs, and so speed is really the main thing with anything electric. So on a straight long road, and you're doing 60 kilometers, 70 kilometers an hour flat out, and you're doing that for like 10-15 minutes, well, your battery's definitely going to run down really quick. But for a narrow road, it's good. Okay, this is the road in the dam now. So this is the bridge over to the beginning of the dam. I can let you have a look. I'll stick my head over. So the water's a greeny colour. It's not from algae, it's just from it's been raining really heavy, and a lot of the mud's come from the mountains. And if it doesn't rain that much in the next week, it goes pretty clear. Let's go and have a look at the rest of the dam. So I'm still in number 2. Setting number 2. It's pulling along here. On the flat, 2's good. It actually does pull on the flat. I'll just see the acceleration out of this corner. Oh yeah, once you go past 3/4 throttle, you can feel the torque kick in. Yeah, she's kicking in now around this corner. Yeah, 2 on a flat road, 2's good. 2's really good. Flat, narrow road, that is. Oop, loose sand on the corner here, better slow down for that. A nice bit of rocks everywhere there. It was after the typhoon that went through. You saw my mudslide videos on my channel, and that's still everywhere. In a lot of areas there's still rocks on the road and things like that. Oh, here's some more here. I haven't been here since the typhoon. Wow, this whole side's washed down here. This was all beautiful clear road when I came here last time. Here we go, just accelerate up to speed again. Excellent. Okay, here we are at the dam. There's no people. There's no people. I might take it a little bit off-roading, shall we? There's no one here, so just go nice and slowly. Actually, I'll go over to this place here. Actually, just put the bike down over here in the shade. Look at that, made for it, perfect. This is the sort of thing I was saying, you know, you could just come here or a place like this wherever you live and take the bike through the countryside and stop and have lunch, afternoon tea or something like that. Okay, I'm just going to turn off and just check everything.